Being kicked out of Metallica, a lot of people said, has fueled me to be faster and better in Megadeth, and that's kind of true, but I was better and faster than them when I was in Metallica.
When Dave Mustaine was kicked out of Metallica and replaced with Kirk Hammett from Exodus, it was a huge blow to him. Metallica were really a band where things were starting to happen, and Dave was such an instrumental part of their sound.
I always thought Dave was really the best songwriter out of Metallica, and to some degree still do. I think some of his stuff was quite obviously the classic stuff, the stuff that was memorable and the stuff that stayed. I think the shame of it all is that there just became too much bickering, and it took us away from the focus on how talented the guy was.
Yeah, Megadeth, when they first came out too, he had something to prove after getting booted out of Metallica. You know, there was a huge grudge there that's been pretty well documented.
Because of that kind of like constant tension and wanting to prove something, you know, Dave Mustaine ended up making music that was much more intricate than what Metallica was doing.
The rhythms he would write were mind-blowing. The rhythms were just kind of almost impressive as anyone's lead playing. That was the fastest shit going on at that time. Yep. You know, that was before Slayer was going Mach 10. I mean, I'm sure the old amphetamines helped a little bit, but still, I mean, they were flying, bro.
So many of the bands at the time were really, you know, they were starting out, but they were young kids and they were just learning and they were, you know, doing good things. But Megadeth was really excellent musicians, and Dave went out of his way to find really good musicians to play with him.
They were always the band that you would look up to because they were such great musicians, you know. It was always like, oh, Megadeth, man, oh, check this out. And I think they almost brought some kind of jazzy feeling to the Thrashed thing.
They were almost like a jazz band playing metal. That's kind of like the vibe I got from them, because there was a lot of unexpected twists and turns on those first two records. So, and that just comes from Mustaine's kind of sideways brand of guitar playing, and that's what's always made him so original.
Back in the time, it was very influential to a lot of people playing guitar and trying to rip fast like that, you know.
Megadeth changed my life, man. When I heard like Metallica was great and I was all about it, but as soon as I heard Peace Sells But Who's Buying, it was just over. I mean, that was like everything metal should be.
I don't believe in God. Talk to him every day.
It had the power, it had the speed, it had the riffs, it had the drums, it had the political lyrics. It was perfect. It really, like, it made me want to play metal. It still does.
Peace Sells is,
that's a masterpiece.
Yep.
Front to back, it's just a great record.
For me, he really did set the scene for this thrash metal, and with his later albums was able to expand, you know, his popularity.
If there's a new way, I'll be the first in line. But it better work this time.
The sad thing, and this is really strange, when Kerry was playing with Megadeth, I showed him a lot of my style. Kerry's a good guitar player. For rhythm, he's great. In Metallica, I was the only guitar player, and a lot of that rubbed off on James. And in Megadeth, it was all my guitar playing and hired hands that learned what I was doing. So out of all of this, I mean, this is totally going to sound arrogant, and I'm sorry, but I'm just telling you the facts. I've affected 3 bands out of the big 5.
You have to give him credit, whether he played on Kill 'Em All or not. Dave started it. And then he went and did Megadeth, which is, you know, one of the greatest metal bands, you know, ever to strap on a guitar.
It would be fun to be able to look at what I did from above and see all of the people that I've affected. But, you know, I also know that these guys were all established now. They've developed their own style since then, and they're very successful.
All the music he wrote on Kill 'Em all those great Metallica songs, you know, without Mustaine, there is no Metallica. Without Mustaine, there maybe is no thrash metal at all.